Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Semi Normal and Thriving. Today, my guest is someone who's very dear to me. I have my big sister on with us today. Her name is Jelila. She is a mom of two absolutely gorgeous and intelligent children, niece and nephew. As mentioned, she's my big sister. She has a bachelor in nursing. She's a registered nurse, a certified pediatric nurse, and a certified lactation consultant. She is a huge advocate for breastfeeding, which is the reason why I have her on here for Black Maternal Breastfeeding Month. Um, Sis, I'm going to go ahead and let you have the floor. Please introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Okay, well, hello. Hi, sis. Thank you so much for having me today. I am so excited to be part of this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. And happy Black Breastfeeding Week to all the mom out there. So,
Mhm.
as you said, my name is Jelila, and I have been a pediatric nurse for 17 years now and a lactation consultant for the past 8 years. I'm also a proud mother of two beautiful children. My oldest is 12, and I breastfed her for 18 months, and my youngest is 8, and I breastfed him for a whooping 25
Woo,
months. Yes, yes, yes. So, both my professional and personal journeys have given me a deep understanding and passion for supporting families, mothers through their lactation journeys. And I'm so honored to be here today to share what I've learned and how to support mothers through their journey. Thank you again.
absolutely. Thank you for being here today. You have so much knowledge to share and to impart on us. So I am super, super excited. So are you ready to jump into it?
I am. Let's do it.
Do it. So, question number one. As a mother of two who breastfed her own children and as a lactation consultant, what unique insights have you gained? And how has your personal journey informed the way that you support Black mothers?
That's a very good question. I love that. So, my personal journey has actually deeply shaped the way I support other moms, especially Black mothers, on their lactation journey. So, breastfeeding was very empowering, but it also came with unexpected challenges. And I remember how vital it was for me to feel seen, heard, and supported without judgment. So that's something when I meet with, you know, mothers, any mothers, but especially Black mothers, the lactation experience is often impacted by systemic disparities, generational trauma, and the lack of culturally affirming care. So my lived experience experience actually allows me to approach the journey with empathy, with cultural sensitivity, and also with a very, very deep understanding of the unique barrier that we face as Black mothers. And that varies from the lack of representation in the healthcare space or setting to the misinformation or mistrust that stem from the historical injustice of this country. So I've learned to support. I've learned that support goes beyond, latch technique or milk supply concern. It's about validating the experiences. It's about honoring the choices, and it's
Mhm.
about creating a space, a safe space, an inclusive space where they can advocate for themselves and for their babies. So, my goal is always to empower, to educate, and to uplift, knowing that when Black mothers are supported
Mhm,
in the breastfeeding journey, the impact actually reaches far beyond the feeding relationship.
mhm,
It actually support health, it support bonding, and the most important thing, it changes for it change this generation, like future to come. So everything changes. So there is like a generational change as well.
mhm. Man, when you said it was empowering, you weren't kidding. I mean, listening to e- how important breastfeeding is, again, not just for mom and to feed baby, but also, like you said, for mom's health and the benefits that they can have baby for baby as well.
That's
Um,
right.
important thing that you said there is, I feel like as health professional, it's easy to
Mhm.
be able to go by the book. Like what you learn is what you stick to, and the moment that you encounter something that it is outside of that box, it's dismissed, right?
That's right. Mhm.
So I appreciate that you allow your lived experience to go ahead and guide how you interact with your clients and also how you provide them with assistance. I think that's incredibly important. So this actually kind of talks a little bit to my next question. So can you speak to the, because you mentioned a little bit of the generational and how it can change that. Can you actually speak to the historical and cultural difference of breastfeeding for Black women, and why is it so crucial to acknowledge this during Black Breastfeeding Week?
So when you think about breastfeeding, especially breastfeeding, Black breastfeeding carries a rich, a complex, and often a very painful history that we must acknowledge, especially during Black Breastfeeding Week. So, historical Black women's relation with breastfeeding in the United States is deeply rooted in the legacy of slavery, where many Black moms were forced to serve as wet nurses for white families, often at the expense of feeding and bonding with their own children. So they were forced to feed the white babies,
Mhm,
and they could not feed their own baby. They could
mhm,
not bond with their own baby.
mhm,
So that trauma still echoes today in form of like a mistrust in the healthcare system,
mhm,
cultural stigmas, and disparity in breastfeeding support and outcome. And then, but beyond the trauma, there is also an immense resilience, see, wisdom, and tradition in our community. Breastfeeding, has always been a way of nurturing, bonding, and also passing down care through generation.
mhm,
So it is a act of resistance. It is an act of reclamation. It's an act of healing.
mhm,
We need to remember when a Black woman, when a Black person breastfeeds today, especially where, in the spaces that were never designed for us to thrive, it is a powerful affirmation of our strength and
mhm,
our legacy. So that's why I always say that Black Breastfeeding Week it's so crucial
mhm,
because it creates that space to uplift our history. It creates that space um, to reclaim our narrative and to celebrate the beauty and the importance of breastfeeding in our community. It also highlights the need of representation, the need of access to culturally competent support, and to create a real policy to change or to bridge that gap that we are still facing. So honoring this history, it's not just about the past, but it's about paving a better future for Black mothers and their baby. It's about paving a better future for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that because a lot of people will see Black Breastfeeding Week and they're just like, why is there a need for Black Breastfeeding Week? Why can it just not be all? But you're explaining the importance of it. We need to be able to understand where our stigma comes from. The fact that it wasn't necessarily passed down, that this is how you bond with your baby. This is the importance of breastfeeding your baby because there were wet nurses for white women.
That's
Um,
right.
be able to understand where it comes from, understanding what you can do today,
Mm-hmm.
and also understand what, going into the future is incredibly important. Um,
Exactly.
Thank you for that answer. From your personal experience, what are some of the most common challenges or systematic obstacles that Black mom encounter on their breastfeeding journey?
Okay. What I've encountered, so I will say there is a couple. One of the biggest challenge or barriers is the lack of culturally competent support.
Mm,
So too often, Black mothers don't see themselves reflected in a lactation profession or feel that their concern are heard or they've been seen. So there is that racial bias that exists in the medical field or the medical setting. And whether we all have unconscious bias,
yeah.
okay, biases, we all do. We have our conscious one and we have an unconscious one. So we all have biases. So I think it's very important to recognize that we all have biases. Talking about the disparity is actually bringing awareness. So being comfortable, I understand that it's a very uncomfortable conversation to have, but
Mhm.
those we need to start being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So, like racial biases in the medical care, higher rate of birth intervention, and limited postpartum support that exceed like they impact Black mothers. They do impact mother at the very alarming rate. As when you think about how many Black women die during birth. When we talk about postpartum depression and all of that. So many are sent home, many mothers are sent home without resources of guidance they need. And when challenges like low milk supply or latching issues or, maternal, breast pain arise, the follow-up care is often delayed or is not adequate.
Mhm.
Another biggest thing that I see is actually workplace
Mm,
barriers. So
mm,
it's also a major, major challenge. Because when you think about it, Black women are overrepresented in jobs that do not offer
yes.
pay leave
Mhm,
or they do not provide breastfeeding accommodation,
mhm,
which makes it harder to continue breastfeeding after returning to work.
mhm,
And that, so if you add that to the historical trauma,
mhm,
surrounded that surrounds Black breastfeeding, it becomes clear that the challenges are not just individual, but it's like a structural. So there is more to it. So that's why it's important to create spaces where Black parents feel safe, supported, and empowered.
mm,
When we center their voices and experiences, we are not only addressing obstacles,
mhm.
but they are also helping to lead the way towards solution that will benefit everyone.
Very important what you've just said. And in the representation that you mentioned, Michelle Obama had actually said something that I appreciated a lot. She said, "We can't be what we don't see."
Mm-hmm.
the importance of being able to see Black women as healthcare providers, as lactation consultants, like you are, I think is very important to see, because then you know that you are being seen, you know that you're being heard.
That's right.
Yeah, so I thought that was important. And then also the workplace. I know that's something that I had to advocate for when I first had my first child. And then I've been incredibly lucky to be in a job that really accommodates breastfeeding times and frequent breaks
Mhm.
in order to make that happen. So I feel supported. But like you said, many Black women are in positions in which that is not supported. So it further makes it difficult for them to be able to continue that journey.
That's exactly right. And I've um worked with moms that needed to go back to work after 2 weeks, for example, because the job did not offer paid, maternity leave, or they did not qualify for FMLA because they've been working at that specific job for only, a few months, not a year yet. So they did not qualify for that, or mom that just could not afford taking 6 weeks or 12 weeks off unpaid, they still had. So that or something. And unfortunately, a lot of my client, a lot of mom that I see are blacks, and they are the one we are the one struggling with the workplace place accommodation. I remember having a mom that worked at one of the fast foods, and just didn't have a place to pump. They only had the bathroom, and she couldn't, of course, and that really, yeah, but she didn't have a place to pump. So she had to stop just because there was no accommodation for her to continue with that journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
I feel very blessed in this moment because to know that there is already systematic issues and also historical issues that we have to overcome. And on top of that, even if we were to try to overcome that, now here's another barrier again. I definitely feel for those mothers, because if this is something that you want to do, it's so good for you, it's good for your baby, and it's great financially as well. But
Hmm.
to keep encountering all of those barriers as Black women is truly heartbreaking. And I hope that that's something that continues to improve based on this kind of advocacy, and also bringing this to the forefront, like this week is doing. So of course we've touched a lot on, I don't want to say negative. Negative is not the word. We've touched a lot on kind of the obstacles, the difficulties. That's the word that I'm looking for. But I also want to bring up the highlights, like the positivity, because I know there's also so much great things that come from breastfeeding. So I'm just curious, in your work, you yourself must have witnessed countless successes. I know that I'm one of them. I've been so blessed and lucky to have you to really help me through my breastfeeding journeys with both kids. And I remember with my first, I really struggled. At one point, first of all, the latching was so difficult. I remember the cracked nipples and the bleeding, and I just didn't want to go on. So having you there to support me was invaluable. And then I remember my breast milk supply also dipping, and that was so amazing to have you walk me through that. So I have multiple success stories when it comes to breastfeeding. But I was just thinking, you yourself must have witnessed countless successes. Can you share a memorable one, or maybe one of the memorable success stories of a Black mother you supported?
Yeah, yes. Oh, I love this. So yes, I had the honor of, working alongside so many incredible Black women,
Mm,
so many incredible women
mhm,
um, on their lactation journey. And when you were asking about success stories, my mind went directly to one young lady. And her story always stayed with me because number one, she was a first time mom.
Mm,
She was a very young mom. She was 17 years old, who came to me feeling very uncertain and
mm,
overwhelmed. She was the first in her family to breastfeed or to wanted to breastfeed. And she had very little support from her healthcare provider. So
mhm,
this is actually, I remember saying to me, you know, I gave birth to my baby. My baby was not latching at the hospital. She was not given any support. She was given like a nipple shield because she was told she
mm,
had flat nipple. She felt like no one was really listening to her. No one showed her what to do, and she was sent home not knowing how to feed her baby.
oh my
She went
God.
home not knowing. So, and a lot of her family members were telling her, go ahead and just, formula feed the baby because, baby is hungry, baby wants to eat, go ahead and do the formula. And
Mm,
she said, she said her grandmother told her that, breastfeeding is not for us. You know that, right?
yeah.
But she was very determined. So when I met with her, we talked. So I was there first. I was her support. I told her that whatever her goals are, we're here to do this together.
Mhm,
And she, even though she faced multiple challenges like latching issue, her supply decreased when she went back to school because she was still in high school, and she was
mm,
very determined to finish school. And she doubted herself so many times, but she kept showing up.
mm,
And she kept showing up, and she would say to me, Miss Jelila, I still come. I still want to do this because of the support I'm getting, because I know you know what is happening. I know what's best for my, I want to do this because I know it's the best thing to do.
mm,
So with consistent support, a lot of education and a safe space where she felt affirmed, she was able not only breastfeed her baby exclusively for 18 months,
what?
but she became a peer support to over young mom in her community. And what makes her story so powerful is that it was not easy,
Mm,
but it was hers.
mhm, mhm,
She trusted her body,
mhm,
she advocated for her needs,
mhm,
and she rewrote her family narrative. Now
mm,
she's the first person in her family and probably her peers
yeah.
to have breastfed exclusively, or to have provided human milk to her baby.
Mhm,
So I think over mothers can learn that breastfeeding is not an all or nothing journey.
mhm,
Okay, it's deeply personal.
mhm,
And success looks different for everyone. But with the right support, the right representation, and the right encouragement,
mhm,
Black mothers can reclaim breastfeeding as a source of power,
mhm,
as a source of healing and connection, just like she did. So
mhm.
I love her. She wonderful does it, and she always sends me pictures and keeps me in touch. We keeps in touch. Yeah, and she finished high school, and beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story. So
Mhm.
it's something that it always stays with me. Her story.
And I know this is not a video interview, but I could hear the smile and the pride in your voice, and it truly is a success story. It hits all of the checkpoints, I would say even. So from for a Black mom who is struggling with breastfeeding, who's listening and is struggling with breastfeeding and feeling overwhelmed or even defeated, because that happens in
Mm.
that journey, what advice would you offer her?
Mm. Well, and I say that to all of my moms that I meet, all of my clients, to any mother, to any parent. who is struggling with breastfeeding, who's struggling with lactation, who's struggling with pumping, who's struggling with chest feeding,
Mhm.
who's and his who is feeling overwhelmed, defeated. The first thing I want you to hear is that you are not alone
Oh.
and you are not failing.
Mm.
Okay. Breastfeeding is natural, but it's not always easy.
Mhm.
It's a journey. And it has nothing to do with your strength.
Mhm.
It has nothing to do with your love for your baby. Or it has nothing to say about your worth as a mother or as a parent. One important piece of advice I always offer is give yourself grace.
Mhm.
Okay? Give yourself grace. There is no one, there is not a right way. So right way in quotation mark, there is not a right way to
Mhm.
feed your baby.
Mhm.
Only what works best for you
Mhm.
and for your entire family, for your family. Whether that's exclusive breastfeeding,
Mhm.
combo feeding, pumping, formula, what matters the most is that you and your baby are healthy.
Mhm.
What matters the most is that you and your baby are connected.
Mhm.
What matters the most is that you and your baby are supported.
Mhm.
So seek out support that feels safe and affirming to you. That could be for a Black mom, finding a Black lactation consultant,
Mhm.
okay? Finding a support group that is culturally rooted in breastfeeding support.
Mhm.
It can be finding like an online community. Now social media can find an online community where other moms share their lived experience.
Mhm.
I want you to remember you deserve care. You deserve care that listens to you, basically.
Yeah.
You deserve care that respects you.
Mhm.
You deserve care that honors your goal without pressure or judgment.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if your journey looks different than what you planned, that's okay.
Mhm.
We all, when we go in, to have our babies, we have a birth plan. And you get there and the journey might look different.
Yeah.
That's okay. You may go in, I will exclusively breastfeed, and it may not happen for multiple reasons. Either you have a low supply, whatever it may be, it is okay. It's okay to choose to shift your feeding plan. Choosing to shift your feeding plan is not giving up.
Mhm.
It's making an empowered decision based on your reality.
Mhm.
Does- Okay?
Mhm.
It's not giving up.
Mhm.
You are choosing a decision based on your reality.
Mhm.
Your love, your effort, and your intention still deeply matter.
Yes. Yeah.
You are matters. You are making the best possible choice
Mhm.
with what you have, and that's something you should be proud of,
Mhm. Mhm.
not ashamed of.
Mhm.
I repeat, you are making the best possible choices
Mhm.
with what you have,
Mhm.
and that's something to be proud of, not ashamed of.
Mhm.
Remember that feeding your baby is not just about milk. It's about your connection, it's about nurture, and it's about showing up. And you are doing that every single day, every single minute, every single second. You are showing up.
Yes. I
Okay.
need to like bottle up what you just said. Like and be able to like give it to people to drink, like to Black mothers to drink, all mothers, all
All
breastfeeding.
mothers are the yeah.
Honestly, because wow, because the second part of my question was going to be, how can someone struggling feel empowered to continue or to make a different choice without guilt? You just crushed that, and again, that should be written in every hospital as they give birth. That should be like given on a mug for them to take home and have it on the little breastfeeding table.
Table, a magnet on the fridge, like a huge magnet.
Yes, a massive one, like as big as the fridge. Like
That's,
that
that's
was so affirming. Oh my gosh, talk about affirming care. I'm going to take this snippet out. I'm going to put it. No, seriously, you've said a lot of important things, but I swear to God, sis, like what you just said, I felt that.
mm,
Felt that, and I'm done with my breastfeeding journey. Like I felt that. So you are not failing. Breastfeeding isn't a little check of here or you fail or pass. You're not failing is so important. You are not alone is so important. Oh my goodness, I feel affirmed. Wow.
yeah, and that's what we need. And I tell people, I say words matter. Okay, it does. So you just have to be there. And I tell my moms, I always, when we sit, I mean, and we have that relationship, we have that friendship. I mean, but just knowing
Mhm.
that I'm here to support you. I'm a nurse.
Mhm.
So it's always, in the medical field, we're always trying to help. When it comes to lactation and breast, we are here to support.
Yeah.
I'm here to support. So whatever it is, I have mom that I'm still, we have still talking that are 800 that are only formula feeding the baby,
Yeah.
and we still talk because it's such a journey. Like feeding baby, it's truly a journey. But you just need to remember you are not alone.
Mhm.
You are not failing. You
Mhm.
need to give yourself grace,
Mhm.
and it is okay if your journey looks different
Right.
than what you plan. It is okay. It's at the end of the day, you are making the best choice with what you have,
Yep.
and it's something to be proud of, not ashamed of.
You're making the best choice, and it is something to be proud of. Wow.
Yeah.
That is empowering. Thank you so much for that. And I can't wait to extract that to like put it on my Instagram because whew, a lot of moms used to hear this. Seriously.
Mhm.
And my very last question is that if there was a mom here in Ohio interested in your services, how can she find you or reach you for more information?
Oh, absolutely. So, if there is a mom in Ohio looking for support, I will be honored to connect with her. And she can reach me at my email. So it's lilaade3084 at gmail.com. So whenever you're just starting out or you need support along the way, you do not have to do it alone. So I'm here. I'm here to support. And I do quickly want to add a couple of things because August and September actually National Breastfeeding Month,
Yeah.
and each week we actually celebrating different communities. Okay, so actually Black Breastfeeding Week is this week. The week before, for a couple of days, it was like military lactation week. We have workplace lactation week coming up. We'll have Latinas. We have deaf and hard of hearing lactation week coming. Earlier this month we have indigenous. So I want you to go out there and learn about all of the different community and all of the breastfeeding weeks that we actually do and we celebrate as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that because we're all one. We can
Yep.
all learn something from each other and we can support each other. So please go out there and look that up and see how you can help all breastfeeding moms out there. Yes, absolutely. Well, to say that this was a pleasure is an understatement. This is amazing. Thank you. I know you're busy as well. So thank you so much for your time today, sis. Um, we live near each other, but we're doing this remotely because just how busy you are. So again, thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge. And yeah, hopefully we'll have you back on.
Yeah, well, it was my pleasure, sis. Thank you so much for having me.
Mhm.
Thank you for creating a space to talk about something so deeply important. And conversations like this, it matters,
Mhm.
okay? Not just for awareness, but for action,
Yes.
for healing,
Hmm.
and for change. Okay, so I am totally once again honored to share this work, and I stand in support of Black mothers who are reclaiming the power, the choices, and the story every day. And to any mother listening today, you are seen, you are worthy, you're worthy,
Hmm.
and you are not alone. So thank you again for this opportunity. It has been a true honor.